You're listening to PetLifeRadio.com.
This episode of Oh Behave is brought to you by TAGG. You love them, so tag them with the TAGG GPS Pet Tracker.
It's Oh Behave with Arden Moore, the show that teaches you how to have harmony in the household with your pets. Join Arden as she travels coast to coast to help millions better understand why cats and dogs do what they do. Get the latest scoop on famous faces, their perfectly pampered pets, and who's walking who in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails, garner great pet tips, and have a doggone fur-flying fun time. So get ready for the pause and applause as we unleash your Oh Behave host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome to the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio. I'm your host, Arden Moore. It goes without saying that we love our pets. They are our most priceless asset. You know, we want to protect them 24/7. We can't put them in a protective bubble, but we can keep tabs on them 24/7. Our special guest today will share how you will never have to fret again about your pet ever getting lost. I want at this time for you all to give pause and applause to Jeff Zotara. He is Vice President for Marketing for TAGG, the GPS Pet Tracker. Hey, welcome to the show, Jeff.
Thanks so much, Arden. Thanks so much for having us on today.
Oh, no problem. Folks, Jeff is in the Lost We Find business. He will share some amazing tales of how people have tracked down their missing pets using the TAGG tracker right after we take this commercial break. So you guys know the drill. You got to sit and stay. We'll be right back.
Time for a pause. 4 furry ones, actually. Sit and stay. Oh Behave will be right back.
Arden Moore here. As host of the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio, I'm all about bringing out the best in pets and their people. That's why I want to take a few moments to share with you one of the best inventions ever for pet parents. Have you ever lost your dog and spent hours in distress worrying if your pet would come home safely? Fortunately, this invention provides the power to keep your pet safe. TAGG GPS Pet Tracker is a lightweight GPS tracking device that attaches to your pet's existing collar and immediately notifies you when your pet has escaped. TAGG GPS allows you to locate your pet from anywhere in America. You never again have to wonder if your pet is safe. Shoo! Now, to learn how to get your paws on a TAGG GPS Pet Tracker, just visit tagg.com. That's TAGG.com.
Let's talk pets on PetLifeRadio.com. Oh Behave is back with more tail-wagging ways to achieve harmony in the household with your pets. Now back to your fetching host, America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore.
Welcome back to the Oh Behave show on Pet Life Radio. This episode is focusing on ways we can find lost pets and how we can reduce the chances of our beloved four-leggers turning into Houdini hounds and poof, disappearing in a flash. You know, years ago when I first adopted Chipper, she's my husky golden retriever who's now 12 years young. She was 2 years old at the time. She was a 3-time shelter reject. I brought her home and I thought I was all safe. After all, I had a backyard with a 6-foot chain link fence. So I let her out in the backyard one day and poof, she was gone. My heart was on my shoes. She had leaped over the 6-foot fence like an Olympic pole vaulter and was nowhere to be seen. You know, huskies kind of have a reputation for wanting to roam, but fortunately, she's also part golden retriever, and they like to be at home. So here's what happened. Chipper jumped over my backyard fence, but ran to my front door and barked. The husky in her wanted to roam, but the golden retriever in her wanted to be home. Fortunately, she was safe. But at the time, technology like TAGG didn't exist, and I was one big puddle of worry. I mean, Jeff, can you imagine that kind of a situation?
Not only can I imagine, Arden, I can relate to your story as well. As I was in Chicago on business, for a few-day trip, and I had a little dog named Zoe, 15-pound Lhasa Apso, and she was one of the laziest dogs that I've ever had, but she was super cute and a fur ball, and I would have told you a million times, there's no way that Zoe is getting out. She always was inside other than walks and exercise and dog parks. And then I got that horrifying phone call from actually my wife, who was traveling with me, that our friend who was babysitting, pet sitting, was in distress because Zoe was not in the house, and looked around. And I, of course, panicked and was calling up all the neighbors. No one had seen her. And it had taken more than about 36 hours to locate Zoe, and she had gone down to a neighbor's yard and got into their garage. And, of course, my background in marketing for the last more than almost 20 years was, we've got to send out the alerts. I had posters made that were the size of Hollywood movie posters all over the neighborhood.
Wow.
And so thankfully, that story had also a happy ending like yours. A little more stress because it went on a long time, and it happened that a landscaper had left the front gate open to the backyard, just a crack, and that was enough for her to start to explore.
Yep. And you guys, all of us know, Jeff, myself, I have cats that have popped out of loose window screens and go, what? What am I doing outside? I want to be inside. I'm going to hide under a bush and hope that Arden can smell me. Oh, wait a minute. She's a human. She doesn't have that ability. But, it is, I don't know how to explain it, but I think we all have been there. And it is just a powerless feeling. And also the maternal and paternal aspects of us, I think they just fly out of us, and we want to find our beloved pet and get them home safely. And for what you had to do with Zoe, I mean, I'm sure every hour seemed like days.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And we even have a neighbor dog that you talked about sneaking out of a loose screen. This dog, second story home, jumps through the screen and then takes off into the driveway and then around to the park. So even a screen sometimes can't hold these dogs in. But it's something that we see throughout America in our industry. I mean, we are TAGG GPS pet trackers, so we're obviously very much into this world of lost pets. And, a family pet is lost every 2 seconds. So we've lost more than 250 to 300 pets have gone missing ever since we started this conversation, and it continues to happen. And unfortunately, only 1 in 10 family pets are really ever found. And close to 33% from a statistical standpoint of families will experience a lost pet. It's just a matter of when it happens and what the end result is.
That's pretty chilling statistics, Jeff. But fortunately, we've got technology as one of our pet's best friends. So talk to us a little bit about how you got involved with TAGG, because I know it's been around a few years, but you've taken over and adding some new features to this GPS tracking device.
Absolutely. And technology has allowed us to do so much more in life with our family and friends, and more importantly, today's world with our pets who are our family and our friends in one package. So TAGG GPS is a GPS pet tracker that will locate your pet with your mobile phone device in a matter of seconds if your pet were to ever escape. And so what generally happens is you buy TAGG GPS pet tracker and you set up a home zone, put a big circle on the map saying, hey, if Zoe, my dog, gets out beyond this point, it will notify me via text or email, or notify your neighbors and say, hey, Zoe's out, you might want to come find me, and kind of play that cat and mouse game of locating your pet. But instead of trying to haphazardly locate your pet, the TAGG app will allow you to pinpoint their location within about 30 feet, which is pretty amazing, and also give you turn-by-turn directions to the specific location. But there is a lot of confusion, and I wanted to speak to your audience and yourself today about the different technologies out there to protect our pets and to keep them healthy. So what we're all used to, I think, is the microchip. And this is something that's typically required with shelters and lost pets. And a microchip is used using basically a radio frequency, and it's implanted into the animal. And we recommend that all pets have a microchip, and it stores the information of where your address and phone number. So if your pet ever does become lost and is found and taken to a shelter with the appropriate scanner, the scanner would pick up the fact that the pet has a microchip and then pull up multiple databases and match that RFID, that radio frequency ID chip. It'll match that up to a database record with your information. Now, here's the problem, is that in companies, microchip companies, have shared this discerning information with me. 50% of people who have microchips in pets don't update their information when they move.
Sometimes they don't even register once the dog or the cat has had the implant. I mean, just to share, I just adopted a kitten named Casey, an orange tabby from the San Diego Humane Society, and she has a microchip as part of the adoption. And the day I brought him home, I made sure I called the microchip company and registered my contact info. And it didn't take very much time, but it is kind of sad that people forget that really important final step to register or alert when they've moved, right?
And it's so critical. And so one of the main missions of my job is to make sure that people register your microchip, update the information so they can locate you. But one of the biggest misconceptions of microchips today is the fact that you can actually track your pet's location. And this is just not possible. It is not. If your pet is found and you're going to rely on the kindness and the proactiveness of a stranger to take your pet and save your pet's life, what we want to do with technology, and what technology has allowed us to do in so many other areas of our life, is to empower ourselves. And there's a few different things you can do. There's kind of a Bluetooth, which people might be used to using Bluetooth with their phone. They have Bluetooth trackers, and trackers with Bluetooth, what you do is you have a Bluetooth mechanism, maybe attached to the collar, and it is talking with your phone. And so let's say you're at a dog park or whatever it might be, and you're kind of hanging out with friends, and your dog goes further than what the Bluetooth can hear, because these devices have antennas or ears. And what occurs then is you get an alert on your phone saying that your dog has gone beyond the communication range of the Bluetooth device. So it acts as kind of a fire alarm, but then you don't really have a way to put out that fire. So there are limitations to that, so that at least lets you know that your pet has left that Bluetooth area. The part of Bluetooth, though, the limitation is that usually it's about 100 to 150 foot range. So the range is very limited, but it does have its benefits. The next real generation of being able to track a lost pet is GPS. And GPS is a global positioning satellite. We have 24 satellites all across, going in orbit all around the Earth. And these devices can listen to the GPS satellites and give you an exact location within about 15 to 30 feet, depending on a lot of different variables. One of the things we might be used to is the GPS that we use in our car, and being able to give us the different directions. Now, one of the problems with GPS is that, for example, different companies have come out with GPS, but they typically require big handsets. And that handset has to communicate with the GPS device that's on your dog. And you usually have to be within a mile or two. This is really, really useful for hunters in different parts of the country, because they can use their hunting dogs, and as long as they stay within 2 miles, they can know exactly where their dog is and find their dog. What TAGG does, which is so unique and so different, is that we're actually using your cellular phone connection or cellular phone towers to communicate the GPS coordinates back to your mobile phone device. And this gives you the ultimate power and control to ensure that you're able to find your dog, because now if Zoe, for example, were to get on a plane from San Diego to New York and decide to kind of just, really hit it off a night on the town, I could tell you exactly where Zoe was 24 hours a day, 365 days a year, and be able to do this with my smartphone, which is a pretty cool thing, or your desktop computer. So because we use the nation's largest network to communicate via cell phone, this gives you all the power. And so those are a few different areas of technology that are currently helping us today.
Well, it's good that you gave us kind of the evolution, if you will, of tracking down dogs and cats, because we are fortunate that we have things like TAGG. And I did want to let you all know, listeners, that the folks at TAGG are going to be giving away a TAGG GPS pet tracker, the kit, that one that comes with the activity tracking feature. So there's no more excuse for four-legged couch potatoes anymore, right, Jeff? So tell us a little bit about the giveaway. What we're going to do is the 100th person to email me, Arden, at Four Legged Life, you got to put the word TAGG, that's TAGG, in the subject header, and you will win a free TAGG GPS pet tracker. So take it away, Jeff Zotara.
Yes, you will win one free tracker with 2 free months of service, and you will also be able to use the activity tracking component to it. Free award-winning mobile app. This device, again, has won 10 awards in the about 2 years it's been in existence, and there is no doubt that once you have this device, you will be wondering why you never had it before. So again, this is all being contributed by us, free to, again, your 100th emailer who can put the word TAGG into the email, and we'll send that off right away.
Oh, that sounds great. And when I become rich and famous, listeners, I'll give you away a car, but I think the TAGG is the next best thing right now. What we're going to do, folks, we're going to talk a little bit about some amazing tales of lost and found. Jeff's going to relate to us, but we're going to first quickly take a commercial break. So sit, stay, make sure your pet is right with you. We'll be right back.
Time for a walk on the red carpet, of course. All Behave will be back in a flash right after these messages.
Pet Life Radio, the #1 pet radio network on the planet, joins forces with iHeartRadio to put the power of your pets in your pocket. Awesome! Download the iHeartRadio app and rock Pet Life Radio on your phone, on your tablet, on your Xbox, in your car. Pet talk, pet tunes, and fun pet times. Pet Life Radio and iHeartRadio. Positively Possum.
Let's talk pets.
Let's talk pets
On Pet Life Radio.
Pet Life Radio.
PetLifeRadio.com.
Hi, I'm Cesar Milan, the dog whisperer from the National Geographic Channel, and you're listening to All Behave on Pet Life Radio with Arden Moore.
Okay, good, Caesar. Good boy.
I'm wagging my tail.
We're back from the lot. Just checked the paper and we had a record showing at the box. The letterbox, that is. Now back to Oh Behave. Here's Arden.
Welcome back to the O Behave Show. I'm your host, Arden Moore. Our special guest today is Jeff Zotara. He is Vice President with TAGG, the pet tracker. This is the latest, the greatest, newest technology on how to keep tabs on our dogs and cats 24/7. We have to work for a living. We have to take road trips. I know there's webcams now for homes where you can see what your dog's doing, getting into the trash, your cat shredding your sofa like confetti. But if there's a loose screen or a handyman that comes in and forgets to shut the door, kaboom, they're gone. Your pet is gone. Now what? So with devices like TAGG, let's talk a little bit about that. I mean, webcams are kind of hot nowadays, Jeff, but they're not going to follow the dog down the neighborhood.
No, that is for sure, Arden. TAGG GPS, one of the great things about working with such an organization in saving pets' lives is that we get to hear the stories day in and day out of people who otherwise probably would not have been reunited with their pets. It's an interesting thing, some of the statistics from the American Pet Products Association. Did you know that the average lost dog, travels about 3 miles per hour? I thought it would be a little faster, but they, of course, have to sniff around and see what's going on in their new territory. But if you put that in perspective, dogs can get pretty far away, and then 32% of lost dogs are found more than 10 miles away from their home.
Wow.
So
really?
That's a staggering statistic. 32% of lost dogs are found more than 10 miles away from their home. Now, 10 miles is a long way, and what happens is that no longer are your neighbors finding your dog, but complete strangers are finding your dog, and sometimes you may not call the shelters further than 10 miles away. So for those of you who do lose a dog and don't have TAGG GPS to save them and think they're in a shelter, please call shelters that are everywhere in your county, because you never know where a lost dog can end up.
That's a great point, Jeff. I mean, today, humane shelters all over the country, they are great places to get a pet to adopt, but they're also great places to find if your pet is there. You mentioned the microchip earlier, but it sounds like it's a no-brainer. You got the tag on your pet, and it's waterproof. My dog, Cleo, surfs, and one year she actually wore it on the surfboard during a surfing event, and it made a splash, literally.
Yeah, I seen the picture of Cleo with TAGG, and definitely it was a really awesome picture. A few other stories for your listeners that are quite interesting is one of the big things that we get from customers of ours is that, well, my pet is always with me. And so there's no way that they're going to escape, so I don't need any kind of this technology to keep track of my pet. Time and time again, a lot of these stories of pets being right by their side and something dramatic happened. So a recent incident happened when a couple eating dinner got a text alert that their pet had escaped the TAGG zone. And they were not a really true believer of TAGG, but they got it anyway as a precautionary tale. And what ended up happening is that they arrived at their house, and their apartment complex had gotten struck by lightning, and there was a potential for fire. And the firefighters came into their apartment, knocked down the door, kicked it in, and all of a sudden their dog, who never escapes and would never go anywhere, was just terrified and took off running. Now, it had been already 20, 30 minutes since they had gotten the text alert, because they were at the dinner and they were coming back to the apartment, their home. So they had no idea that their house had been, or their apartment complex had been struck by lightning, and all they knew is their dog had escaped. And so they were able to locate their dog immediately once getting back to the apartment. So this is one instance where completely locked up in an apartment, and it nearly catches fire, and the dog escaped and thankfully was reunited very shortly thereafter.
So even so-called Velcro dogs need TAGG. That's a great message. I mean, that would scare the collar off of me to know that I think my pet is safe at home. But, you know, we have Mother Nature who's not very nice lately. You have floods in Arizona and everything else, and your dog could be at home and get scared and, like you say, bolt.
Yeah, or we talk about travel. We've got 30 million pet travelers out there each and every year. And we had a story where a couple was driving down the road with their two dogs, and all of a sudden from the right-hand side, a big speeding truck came in and T-boned them, smashed their car. The car was totaled. Thankfully, I'll end the story that everyone was safe, but one of their dogs was severely injured. The windows had been shattered out, so now they're sitting in the middle of this intersection. We've got just everything, smoke bellowing out in the front of the car, and one of the dogs that was not seriously injured jumped out through the window, through traffic, and through this dense forest area. Our customer had picked up their phone looking for the TAGG app, and unfortunately, their phone had been smashed in the accident, and so it was unusable. So, of course, they're not only terrified of their dog in the back seat who had been seriously injured, but their other dog might get run over by a car or get completely lost. So they flagged down a passerby who was there and grabbed their mobile phone, went to their app store, downloaded it, free of charge, of course, and logged in with their username and password, and they were able to work with the police to track the dog's location. So here's another instance of who would have thought that car accident, dog jumps out, unfamiliar territory, takes off, and this was another instance where the dog was reunited very shortly thereafter.
You know, what a smart person to know, and this also shows how easy it is to just download the app, and what quick thinking. I mean, you're hit in a car accident, you're really in a state of shock, but I am so happy to hear that they were able to track down their dog with the TAGG tracker. That's an amazing story. But equally is kind of a fun feature you guys have to show, do we have really couch potatoes as canines, or are they doing little doggy aerobics when we're not at home? Tell us a little bit about this activity tracker.
Yeah, the activity tracker is definitely going to be a game changer. It's starting to gain a lot of traction. We see here throughout the world and in America, we are very cognizant now with wearables and technology like the Fitbit or Nike Fuel Band that allows us to track our steps, our motion. And TAGG GPS not only has TAGG GPS Tracker, but it also has a 3-dimensional accelerometer for your pet. And in the most simplistic
Say that again.
language,
Wait a minute. It's called a what?
It's a 3-dimensional accelerometer. To simplify it, it's going to tell you how active your dog is. And it's embedded within the TAGG tracker, which is very cool. So it's not an extra feature you have to pay for. It's included with everything. And it is going to tell you and your vet how active or inactive your dog is every single hour of the day. And you will notice peaks when the UPS man comes to visit. You will notice peaks during food time and, of course, when you take your dog to the park. Why we feel that this is, of course, of such great value is that, and you know this, Arden, typically pets, especially cats, will try to hide any kind of illness or disease that might not be making them feel really good. And what happens is that you don't know your dog or cat is sick until they start showing outward symptoms. What TAGG Tracker has been able to do with this activity monitor is that we have been able to, and will and can, show you what the activity has been during the last 30 days. So you may we have what we call TAGG points. I almost think of it as calories burned. And so if you have 400 TAGG points for 20 days in a row, and then all of a sudden your dog or cat has 200 TAGG points for the last 10 days or 5 days. Obviously, you may not notice any change because what vets have shared with me is that there's so much adrenaline. When you come home from work and a long day at the office and your dog or cat just is so excited to see you, you'll never know that they've been lazier or not as active or because of a certain condition. So you can pinpoint certain trends in this activity monitoring that you can then go to your vet sooner rather than later to perhaps get some blood work done to see if there's any underlying condition that should be cause of concern for us as pet lovers. And I'm a big believer in preventative action and not waiting till it gets too late. And so the activity monitor helps pet lovers throughout America really keep an eye on their pet's activity. And right now in America, we're faced with an epidemic of obesity in humans, but we are also facing that in our pets. And more than 55% of dogs are obese or overweight. And yet only 10% of us as Americans feel that our pets are overweight or obese. So there's what we call the fat gap, and this is where we need to start paying attention to what we feed our pets, and we need to start paying attention to what we do with them from an activity standpoint. We just can't take them out to do their business. We need to exercise with them, and vets typically recommend 30 to 60 minutes of exercise each and every day. So I implore your audience today, take a look, whether you have a tracker or not, take a look and say, am I really giving my pet the opportunity to get as much exercise as they can each and every day, because it's so important.
No, I think you've hit it on the head. We're getting too many hairy Ottomans and chubby chow hounds, and that's startling that folks are kind of blindsided, not realizing that more than not, their dog or cat is above their ideal weight. I have 4 pets, and they all get exercise, 2 dogs, 2 cats, and they have to be exercised mentally, too. But with the activity tracker, it's cool because you can see how much activity they actually are doing during the day, both with you and when they're at home. So that's a good aspect. And I do need to let people know before we bid adieu that we're going to have a Twitter party, and we're going to talk about pet safety, and I think it's set for September 18th. That's Thursday at 6 o'clock Pacific. That's 9 o'clock Eastern. Jeff, tell our listeners how they can participate in the Twitter party.
Absolutely. Well, you want to use the hashtag #PetFirstAid, and Arden will answer all of our fans' questions, all about first aid. You're such an expert in that. And so we'll also be giving away a couple prizes during the event. And so look at us at Pet Tracker. We're also on Facebook. And so it'll be a fun time.
Be the 100th person to email me, Arden, at 4legged Life. Put the code word TAGG, that's TAGG, in the subject header after today's episode, and you will win a free TAGG GPS pet tracker kit. Plus, the first 2 months are free as well. Correct, Jeff?
Yes, they are.
All right. So what's the biggest thing that gets you smiling each day working at TAGG? Because you've done different things in your professional life, but when I met you, I could see that you really dig this job. It's not just a job. So tell me a little bit from your perspective, what's keeping you here?
Well, I definitely know for sure that I know what our pets mean to us. I had, my cat Sam passed away and my dog Zoe passed away in the last few weeks. I know the importance of having that connection with our pet, and so I still have Mr. Kitty, a very creative name, of course, for a cat. But I
but
love each and every day.
But he's got a Mr. title. He should be called Dr. Kitty by now.
That's right. And so coming to work, and I don't even feel like it's work, but doing something each and every day to truly saving pets' lives is something that I'm immensely appreciative of, and to be able to take a passion that I have for technology and have a device that can make such a impact, from both an emotional and a physical impact, on so many tens, hundreds of thousands of lives throughout America is something that's really, really rewarding for me. So I think that what makes me smile is knowing that less pets are lost each and every day. More and more pets don't have to die because we're bringing technology to the forefront and allowing people to be empowered to do what they can do to keep that relationship there.
Well, when you say, the statistic was at the beginning of the show, 1 in 10 lost pets are found. I have a feeling you're doing all you can with TAGG to improve those odds.
Well, thank you. We are excited, and thank you so much for allowing me a few minutes to share with you and your pet-loving audience a little bit about what different technology that they can use. And I implore them to use all types of technology, anything we can do to keep our pets safer and healthier.
All right, we're speaking with Jeff Zotara. We're very happy he could be here. And at this time, also, I want to give a big pause up to our producer, Mark Winter. He makes this show happen each and every week. So dash over to tagg.com, that's TAGG.com, for more details. And remember, we've got a Twitter party set for Thursday, September 18th. It's being sponsored by TAGG. It's all about pet first aid. I'm a master certified pet first aid instructor, and I'm going to help answer some questions to keep your pet very healthy and very safe. So, and finally, write me. If you're the 100th person to email me with the word TAGG in the subject header, you're going to win a free TAGG pet tracker and the first 2 months service provided for free. So until next time, this is your flea-free host, Arden Moore, delivering just 2 words to all you 2, 3, and 4-leggers out there. Oh, behave.
Coast to coast and around the world, it's Oh Behave with Arden Moore. Find out why cats and dogs do the things they do, and get the latest buzz from wagging tongues and tails in Rin Tin Tinseltown. From famous pet experts and best-selling authors to television and movie stars, you'll get great tail-wagging pet tips and have a fur-flying fun time. All Behave with America's pet edutainer, Arden Moore. Every week on demand, only on PetLifeRadio.com.